Nepal's Prime Minister and chair of the Group of Least Developed Countries, Pushpakamal Dahal, in a crucial address at the 2023 Sustainable Development Goals Summit in New York, has called for urgent global action to rescue the Sustainable Development Goals from derailing and to address the mounting challenges faced by LDCs. Good morning, I'm Abheudaya Shrestha, and these are the headlines of the hour. Prime Minister Dahal addresses the Sustainable Development Goals Summit in New York, says COVID-19 pandemic, climate change and geopolitical tensions are challenges of achieving sustainable development goals. National Education Day being observed throughout the country today. No improvement seen in the standard of education despite annual investment of 200 billion rupees. Canada expels a senior Indian intelligence official saying it had credible information linking Indian government agents to the murder of a Sikh separatist leader in British Columbia last June. And women football players of Spain reiterate they will continue to boycott the national team, signaling a deepening crisis after the country's then Football Federation boss Rubiales kissed player Hermosa. Prime Minister Pushpakamal Dahal has said that it will be challenging for the least developed countries to achieve the Sustainable Development Goals by the year 2030. Premier Dahal, who is in New York to participate in the 78th General Assembly of the United Nations, addressed the 2023 Sustainable Development Goals Summit, saying that developed nations should provide financial assistance as per their commitment. Prime Minister Dahal, who is also the chair of the Group of Least Developed Countries, stated that it will be a challenge for the LDCs to achieve the Sustainable Development Goals by the year 2030 due to the COVID-19 pandemic, climate change and geopolitical tensions. Premier Dahal proposed for bringing additional plans to uplift the standards of the least developed countries. Premier Dahal expressed concern that foreign direct investment in LDCs had declined by approximately 30% in 2022 compared to the previous year. This decline, he said, had severe consequences for essential sectors including infrastructure, renewable energy, drinking water, food security, healthcare and education. Prime Minister Dahal said that steps need to be taken to address debt distress of the LDCs by 2025 and priority should be given to find a timely solution to the problem. After the government decided to celebrate the National Education Day on the day the Compulsory and Free Education Act was implemented, the day is being celebrated today for the first time on 2nd of Asoj as per the Nepali calendar by organizing various programs throughout the country. The National Education Day 2080 is being observed across the country today under the slogan Inclusive and Skill-Based Education and Retention of Youths within the country. Although the government has been investing more than 200 billion rupees in education from the pre-primary level to university level, there has been no significant achievement in student learning. Almost 4.2 million students are currently studying in around 28,000 community schools in the country. Although the government has prioritized to improve the standards at community schools by raising the budget, there has been no improvement in learning by the students. According to the Education Standard Test Center, the achievements by students in subjects mathematics, science, English and Nepali have gone down. In last year's secondary education examination SEE, 42% or 204,000 students received grade E or D. Likewise, 49% of the students in grade 12 have failed. The Education Ministry has accepted that teachings in schools have been feeble as it is difficult to find teachers for mathematics, science and English subjects nationwide. The situation towards technical education is no different. In technical institutions under the CTEVT, the student number is low while there is scarcity of teachers as well, which has degraded the standard of education. The situation is the same in higher education. The increasing political interference in universities and frequent strikes by professors and students have affected studies and resulted in delay in conducting exams and publishing results. The government failed to give priority to keep politics away from educational institutions and make management strong, due to which students are leaving the country to study abroad. The Hindu community is celebrating the auspicious festival of Rishi Panchami today, a day after Haritalika Tej, in honor of Saptarishi or 7 sages as mentioned in the Hindu scriptures. In accordance with Hindu mythology, women fast on Rishi Panchami in pursuit of receiving the blessings of 7 sages and to confer their wishes for happiness and wealth. The festival is celebrated on the 3rd day of Tej celebration. Women reaching their menstruation period observe Rishi Panchami with fervor and utmost respect. They fast and pay homage to the Saptarishis with the belief that they will be forgiven of all their sins committed during their menstrual cycle. As part of the rituals, women wake up early in the morning today and bathe in a nearby lake, pond, river, or stream. They cleanse their body with 365 Apamarga stems, a medicinal plant, and take a bath using cow dung, soil, or ash from sacred places. Devotees are also celebrating Ganesh Chaturthi festival today by worshipping Hindu god Ganesh. In our Public Voice segment, on the occasion of Haritalika Tej yesterday, we had asked people in several provinces what should be done to conserve the originality of Tej's festival. Let's take a look at what they had to say.
होटलमा बसेर दर खानु भन्दा आफ्नै गाउँघरमा बसेर दिदीबहिनीहरुसँग बसेर दर खाने बुढो पुस्ताले नयाँ पुस्तालाई चाडपर्वको मौलिकता सिकाउन आवश्यक छ।
अहिले छन् चमक झमकहरु गीतहरु हुन्छ नि त्यस्तो चाहिँ भन्दा पनि पुरानामा गीतहरुमा प्राथमिकता दिनु पर्यो।
जुन विकृतिहरु बढ्दै छ नि त्यसलाई चाहिँ अन्त्य गर्नु पर्छ।
तीजको दिन मात्रै पब्लिक होलिडे नभएर पञ्चमीको दिन पनि पब्लिक होलिडे दिनु पर्यो।
तीजलाई मनाउने क्रममा विभिन्न किसिमका तड्काउ भड्काउ खालका उच्छृङ्खल गतिविधिहरू नगरिकन
परम्परा र आफ्नो धर्मको सधैँ जगेर्ना गर्नुपर्छ।
यो हाम्रो चाड हो, अहिलेको आधुनिकतिर लानु हुँदैन।
It's time now for our segment Public Pulse, where you text us with your opinion.
Public Pulse.
Here's the question. What should be done to curb the random use of antibiotics? Your options are A, accountability of doctors, B, effective monitoring, and C, public awareness. The voting is on. Type NEWS, select your option A, B, or C, and send it to 34001 to share your opinion with us. And it's time now for the international update. Canada said it had credible information linking Indian government agents to the murder of a Sikh separatist leader in British Columbia in June and said it had expelled a senior Indian intelligence official. The announcement marks a significant worsening of bilateral ties at a time when India is already unhappy that Canadian authorities are not cracking down on Sikh protesters who want their own independent homeland. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau said any involvement of a foreign government in the killing of a Canadian citizen was an unacceptable violation of Canada's sovereignty. Hardeep Singh Nijjar was shot dead outside a Sikh temple in Surrey, British Columbia on 18th of June 3 months ago. Nijjar supported a Sikh homeland in the form of an independent Khalistani state and was designated by India as a terrorist in July 2020. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken met with Chinese Vice President Han Zheng on the sidelines of the United Nations General Assembly yesterday as the world's 2 largest economies hold a series of meetings to stabilize their strained relationship. The meeting between Blinken and Han was the latest in a series of high-level talks between U.S. and Chinese officials that could lay the groundwork for a meeting between U.S. President Joe Biden and Chinese President Xi Jinping later this year. Blinken said in brief remarks at the beginning of his meeting with Han that the world expects both the countries to responsibly manage bilateral relationship. Blinken further said that, from the perspective of the United States, face-to-face diplomacy is the best way to deal with areas where both disagree and also the best way to explore areas of cooperation between them. Biden this month expressed disappointment that Xi had skipped a summit of group of 20 leaders in India, but said he would get to see him. The next likely opportunity for Biden to hold talks with Xi is and Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation Summit in San Francisco in November, where U.S. aides for months have hoped to stage such a meeting. Global leaders have gathered for a two-day Sustainable Development Goals Summit in New York to address the stalling progress of the Sustainable Development Goals. World leaders are seeking to salvage stalled global targets to fight issues such as hunger, poverty, and climate crisis that have been knocked off course in recent years by the COVID-19 pandemic and economic headwinds. Roughly halfway to the 2030 deadline to meet the UN's Sustainable Development Goals, agreed as a development yardstick in 2015, only 15% of the targets are on track, raising the stakes for a two-day Sustainable Development Goals Summit that started yesterday. UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres told the gathering that at the halfway point to the SDG deadline, the eyes of the world are on the world community once again. He further urged to act now and to act together. Seeking to regain lost momentum, Guterres has called for at least $500 billion per year in extra funding from wealthy nations to help reach the goals by 2030, and leaders are expected to make new interim Sustainable Development Goals commitments this week, including benchmarks to cut inequality and poverty by 2027. That's all for the moment. Thank you for watching. Have a good day.